Have you ever watched Valorant pros and wondered how you can take their high-level gameplay and apply it to your ranked matches? Do you struggle to figure out what to focus on or how to adapt their strategies to your own games? Today, we're breaking it down into 3 key lessons that you can learn from the pros to improve your ranked performance. We'll be looking at Saadhak, one of the best IGLs in the world and the leader of KC. Let's dive into the first clip and see what you can take away. Okay, so before I let the round play out, I want to just explain what's going to happen so you can kind of spot certain things that I want you to spot. In this round, you're going to see KC come into A. You're going to see NAVI try and early pressure mid to see if they can find anybody just kind of sitting here lurking. And with this early push into A, you're going to see kind of a team split coming in through bridge and through left lane here. And then once the plant is down, you're going to see one of the teammates posted up here. One posted up here, and then one posted up right here. This one's going to be Saadhak. I want you to pay particular attention to him when he's posted here and how he plays this interaction. After NAVI pushes mid and they realize that there's nobody there, they're all going to start coming back and flooding in through backside. The important thing to note here with Saadhak as the round plays out is how patient he is in getting the trades that he gets. Getting a trade doesn't always mean when one of your teammates dies, you instantly have to go for that trade. Getting a trade just means one person's down, you get another person in return. Whether that's later in the round, whether that's now, it doesn't really matter. It's not just about getting the trade, it's about when you get the trade. And just, again, spot Saadhak and when he goes for the trade here.
It's 5-man mid push.
Yeah, good spot on that one. NAVI looking proactive from the very beginning. And of course, KC on the other side, leaning straight towards A. All the util in. Xiao going to try and take a glance. I don't think he got much out of that, but again, Carmichael not being particularly subtle in this, and that spike plant should be on the way.
All down to the retake now for KC. NAVI, sorry.
Yeah, let's see what they've got left. I mean, they should have a fair bit of utility still. I mean, I'm seeing the paranoia with Hero. I'm seeing some bits and pieces, but it looks so well prepared by KC. Saadhak's going to buy some more time. Look at the stall they've got here.
We've got a flank coming in for Hero, but he's taking his sweet time about it.
Yeah, and that wall's still going to be pivotal, right? They still will give away the game. The contact's made, so he's got to speed up at some.
So look at the patience, right? He's stunned, of course. So he can't peek out of here no matter what, right? Like if he peeks out of here, he's dead. But he knows, because he just got sprayed by a bunch of people coming in this direction, that if he tried to get this trade on the Yoru that just passed here or just died here, there's no way he's getting that trade, right? No world where he peeks this corner and he gets a trade on that Yoru instantly, right? He's going to get traded out on the other end, right? So they're going to just, again, like I said, get a 2 for 0. So it's not necessarily that this has to be the case every time, right? But when you're in ranked and you're playing in situations like this, you want to make sure that when you're going for a trade, you're not just going for a trade blindly. You're recognizing that if you're going for a trade, you're still isolating the individual that you're trying to fight, right? So earlier, if you tried peeking this corner, there were, I think, 3 people here, right? You had your Jet, your KO, and your Astra. It's very unlikely that he gets this pick or this trade. And same thing goes for ranked, right? You want to make sure that you're isolating your fights, and that's going to go to a tip that I'm going to talk about later. But again, generally speaking, just time your trades correctly.
At some point, it's Angel leading the way with 2 quick kills, and suddenly Saadhak's the one to respond back. We've got the IGLs going pound for pound, and it's Sugetsu and Saadhak.
And now look at what that does for Saadhak specifically, right? So because he doesn't immediately go for that trade over here, he's still alive, and he's able to throw this wall, which allows him and his Astra to group up here and push together through the wall in an effort to get a trade on this Omen, right? So now they're going to go for an instant trade, right? That's the plan here. So earlier it was sit here, wait for the timing so that you don't try to get an instant trade and get the trade when the timing makes sense. Here, they're going to push through this wall together and get an instant trade, right? So one person's probably going to jump through this, the other person's going to walk through, and they're going to get a 2 for 1, right? Or not necessarily a 2 for 1, but 1 for 1 essentially. Because they have 2 people to the 1 person that's left on Navi's side. But again, that's the goal here, is trade doesn't always mean instantly try to get the trade. It just means time the trade correctly and get it eventually.
Still alive, up against Hero on that long time flank that we were waiting on happening, but still by this point, they're going to check the smoke. You're going to check the smoke. You're absolutely going to check the smoke. And Saadhak runs in the end. Frenzy does just fine. Carmine Core with the first.
Okay, so in this round, what you're actually going to notice is something that is pretty important in ranked and just in general as you're going about playing online, is that you don't only want to focus on the opponent. You're going to notice a couple of things. They're going to get on site. Saadhak's going to come out here. He's going to fake the plant. I think at one point we're going to have Angel peek here, and he's going to die in that duel to Saadhak. But after that, Saadhak comes around here. He gets the plant off over here. And from there, you're going to notice two things. I want you to try to spot two things, either in the field of play or on the minimap. You're going to notice that Saadhak puts his little orb here, like the shielded orb down here, when he has two teammates sitting here in back lane. And that's going to do two things. First thing I want you to notice is when he throws his orb here, that orb serves really its main purpose there is to try and prevent any sort of trades from happening on the teammates that he has here in back lane. And then likewise make it more difficult for anyone to approach from either heaven or stairs because that orb is there. The second more important thing that I want you to focus on is how Saadhak repositions himself for his teammates to be able to take fights a little bit more easily. So you're going to notice that Saadhak comes right over here and then he's going to jump out of a smoke and then just start kind of bunny hopping over into the wall over here. And once he's there, he gets a pick off somebody over here. I believe it's the Omen. But notice what that does to everybody else playing in this area here. You're going to notice that all of their crosshairs are going to be now focused over here instead of over here where it should be. And I know that that sounds like a really, really basic thing that, oh, okay, their crosshairs are now looking over here. The only reason that they're doing that is because Saadhak understands that if he plays for his teammates here, that if he focuses on what his teammates are doing, which is positioning themselves back here, that gives his team a better opportunity of winning this engagement, right? So after he moves to the wall over here, you're going to see his teammates try to come out for a trade, and they're going to look this way from this corner, and they're going to kill whoever was here. I believe it ends up being the Sova. But again, that's only possible because Saadhak is focused on his teammates, not on the enemy. So if he was focused on the enemy, he probably would have just stayed right back here and tried winning these engagements. But he knows that if he moves out in this direction, now his team can flood it back into this direction and get those trades.
His most, but Sugetsu is still by the window, so he's got to be a little bit cautious on this. Angel's dealing with them towards the side, keeping eyes drawn, but already awareness from Sugetsu. Nice find on the flank, and now they focus towards the side. It's Saadhak to find Angel this time. Dies, I feel, almost needlessly towards heaven there, now leaving just the three to try and work back through a very difficult retake this time with Sugetsu in such a powerful position, deep, disconnected away.
Revealing area.
Saadhak going to spot at least one, taking a couple of steps and plays it. I was going to say cautiously, but actually just dives out and gets it.
Now look at where his crosshair is, right? So Hero now is trying to get this trade on the Saadhak, right? And if he does or doesn't, that doesn't matter. Look at what his team's doing. They're starting to look this way. They're starting to recognize, okay, well, if Saadhak's out here, one, he's kind of in no man's land, right? That's kind of the point. He's trying to be in no man's land at this stage, or he's trying to play within the Astra smoke. But doesn't matter. The point is they're going to start flooding out this way, and now Hero has to go from shooting here to shooting here. And that's a much more difficult engagement than him just peeking around this corner and focusing straight over in this direction, which is what most people would do in this scenario.
The heady by Xiao, doesn't get any more heroes there. Martin on the trade, nice work from Carmine Core. Very controlled approach on the way back through.
Okay, so this last tip, in my opinion, is probably the most important tip in all of Valorant, and it's learning how to isolate your fights. So in this round, what you're going to see is Navi is going to end up planting right here. You're going to see KC group up over here by stairs, and you're going to see Saadhak wall this off preemptively. I think even before the plant goes down or right after the plant goes down. The thing that I want you to focus on is really how Saadhak plays based off the information that he's given and how he reacts to the situation, specifically when he recognizes that the fights are isolated.
Primed for it, just couldn't snap over towards Hero, but stunning impact already, leaving Hero and Ruxic, I mean, a little bit behind the curve to say the least. Hero does have his two smokes, can get out of there, but 15 seconds, where are you going to go? I mean, at this point, do you try and make something out of nothing? Banking on Ruxic, who's only got the Outlaw here as well. Not ideal. 5 seconds now. He's running solo on time to make himself comfortable in that post plant, but...
So there goes the wall, right? So this wall is achieving two things. One, it's taking the guesswork out of having to figure out where anybody might be, because when he puts this wall up, essentially what's happening is now they can flood onto site confidently, knowing there's at least one person on site because they planted the spike, right? So they don't know if anybody's here just yet. They're not fully sure that, hey, somebody is probably in lane here, or maybe over here by the little bridge. What's important is that this gives them full freedom to just focus on all of this right here, right? They can just flood in as soon as the plant goes down, not have to worry about it.
Still Rooksick, not even going to spot the cross. Oh, okay.
Okay, so they know for a fact now that somebody is over here in attacker side heaven, right? So look at the reaction that Saadhak has to that. So they know for a fact one is here, and they know that one just planted right here. So they've isolated two different people, and those are the only two remaining people on Navi's side. And the speed that he reacts is not something that you're going to find in a lot of ranked matches. I totally understand that. And even the teamwork in pushing out of here is something that you may not find. But what I want you to take away from this clip is how he is systematically using his utility in an effort to try and make the fights easier, even though they have a numbers advantage. So they were up 4-2 when this round, started playing, right? But he still is trying to think, how can I isolate just one of these people? How can I just focus on the person that's here planting to make sure that I'm giving my team the best advantage possible? Because a 4v2 is still very losable. I'm sure you've all lost ridiculous rounds like that. So he's using this wall to just try and see if he can guess, okay, well, maybe there's somebody over here, over here, over here. We don't know that yet. I just want to be sure, and I just want to be safe so we can flood back in and try and get just one person spotted over here.
Spots one. Hero.
Player standing.
Not to be this time. And a 1v3. Don't think it's going to work out, do we? Nope. There was a try. There was a try.
To be fair, they almost still lost that round because that was wild, but point still stands. For those of you still watching, I appreciate you. I know it's been a minute, but with the season roaring back up, I'm going to try to make more videos more regularly. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more Valorant guides. And of course, let me know in the comments what pro player you'd like to see me break down next. I'll see you in the next one.